This episode of the PC Perspective podcast is brought to you by CASPER. CASPER is a sleep brand that continues to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience one night at a time. Get $50 off select mattresses by visiting casper.com/PCPer and using promo code PCPer at checkout. Hey everybody, welcome to the PC Perspective podcast. This is episode 507 being recorded on July 18th, 2018. I'm Ryan Schrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Joshua Walrus.
Allyn Malventano.
Allyn, you trying to be tall again today?
No, I just sat in the chair.
Perfect.
Chair was like this the whole
You're
time.
just supposed to reach over and press his
There's
lever.
There's more people.
What?
Sorry?
There's more people.
Why are you wearing a Destiny shirt?
Are you new
to this podcast, Allyn?
There's a.
We don't usually do that. Why? The question is, why am I wearing a Destiny shirt? It was the next shirt in the closet that was clean.
You've played a whole 10 minutes of Destiny 2?
Yeah, I saw the HDR and it looked amazing. Is this shirt in HDR?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it feels very dynamic to me. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is the podcast that's associated with the website called PC Perspective, hence the name, the PC Perspective podcast. We always say this at the end, but I never remind you at the beginning. If you're a first-time listener, you got 506 back episodes to catch up to the storyline. And you can find all that starting at PCPer.com/podcast, all the subscription places, YouTube and RSS and whatnot. We do record it on Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern or so, 7 p.m. Pacific at PCPer.com/live. You can go hang out in the chat room, see the pre-show, the post-show. We can talk about, you get to see all the cool stuff about how much we hate using Skype for professional purposes. You can see... I don't know. We didn't do anything else particularly interesting in the pre-show. But hey, you never know what's going to happen after the podcast. That's when it gets crazy in here. If you need a little reminder of that, so you can come join us on the live stream, go to PCPer.com/subscribe. You get this page here, which asks for your name, your email address, and then we will send you a notification when we're doing a live event, such as the one that we are recording right now. Of course, we still have our Patreon campaign running as well. That is at patreon.com/PCPer. This is your place if you want to be a contributor to PCPer.com in kind of a recurring monthly monetary fashion. If you think the podcast we do is worth a damn, the mailbags we do are worth a damn, the other content that we post and write about is worthwhile, this is your place to support that, I guess. You can see a little bit of history of PC Perspective over the years. You could see some of the technical stuff that we have created and pushed forward in the industry. You can see Josh in a bathrobe. All that can be found at patreon.com/PCPer. And we greatly appreciate all of our patrons. And as always is the case, or almost always is the case, if you become a new patron and or increase your patronage during the show, I will see that email and I will thank you. And you will be part of PCPer lore forever and ever and ever. Speaking of mailbags, we did do another one this week. Number 52, Baby Got Backplate, is the name of this one. Jim, very creative with the naming schemes for the mailbags. Good stuff there. This is, we answer the questions that you guys send in. It could be in the comments of this YouTube video, the comments on PCPer.com. If you have a question for us that you want us to answer in the mailbag, go to those videos and leave us a comment. We need your questions and greatly super duper appreciated. So you can find those on PCPer.com every Friday, or go to PCPer.com/YouTube. Up to you. And of course, let's not forget our merchandise at joshtech.com, JOSHTEKK.com. This is where you can buy Death Wish Raid t-shirt, Super Pipe t-shirt, the PC Perspective logo t-shirt that Ken is modeling for us today. Looks like this, but it looks like that.
What?
There you go.
No. What?
It's okay, Ken. It's all right. Okay. Plus, we also have the world famous Josh Tech mug and Josh Tech print. As you can see here, if you want some Josh Tech on your wall, if you want some Josh Tech on your chest, you can just buy the t-shirt variant here. And I can think of really nothing better in my life than having
Josh Tech on your chest?
Josh Tech on my chest.
I don't know. I can think of a few things.
Yeah, I mean,
Wait, never
I
mind.
could. I could too, but I was just trying to be nice. All right,
There you go. Got it.
there it is. We bring back that rundown. We lost it. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about next.
you don't need
There
that.
it is. Let's talk. We got a couple of quick reviews to get through. First up, Sebastian posted his look at the FSP CMT, which is not country music television. The CMT series, CMT520 RGB tempered glass case review. FSP, relatively new to the case market. They've done power supplies forever. They've been in OEM for power supplies forever as well.
Yep.
And now they're getting into some other markets. They have their own brand of consumer power supplies. Now they have cases in here as well.
RGBs.
Of course, it is called the CMT520 RGB tempered glass case. It is a mid-tower design, supports all the way up to eATX motherboards, apparently. It's a fairly reasonable price here at, what is it, $105 or so. Yeah, so that's your stock image. Here we get into the Sebastian photography work that I think is probably the most important part of any of this. He left us a couple of points. Impressive build quality and a nice appearance. Obviously, you have to like the style, but I think I have come to enjoy, if you have anything that has lights, if you have anything that you want to show off, the tempered glass windows, like sides, are the best way to do that because it's not a window, it's not limiting you in any way.
And it's not acrylic that's going to scratch up.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
That's true. So you can see it comes with the RGBs, if you will. It does have a bottom mount, power supply, fan, filter.
Also good.
Yep. Yeah, it's got its RGB header cables and the control panel included, covered and protected there. The temperatures apparently, according to Sebastian again, suffer a bit from the limited front intake around the glass. That is a problem with glass. It is not conducive to airflow through it. Just in general, I think, as a thing about glass, it doesn't even have to be, it could be frosted glass. Still not going to let that air through. Looks like plenty of space inside the case, though. The noise levels are about average, kind of in keeping with the temperatures that you see in it. There's a lot of openings and stuff throughout this case, just in that front air intake, even though it's got those 3 fans there, because of the glass, your kind of air is coming in from the sides only. I guess the sides and the bottom on these designs. And so that is obviously going to be kind of a constriction on the airflow. You can see it's got a rear mount for the 2.5-inch SATA, or I guess 2.5-inch drives, removable power supply, mounting bracket, pretty decent build across the board. There it is with all the goodies in it. One day we'll update Sebastian's GPU. Although
That's
it
a
looks,
great test.
yeah, it's old, so it looks, outdated, but in terms of like getting as much heat into a case as possible to test thermals.
That's the one.
That's excellent.
Yeah, that's definitely going to do it. So you can see some of the temperature ratings here. It's not bad. There's not a huge gap between all of these, but there is some difference there. You can see with the FSP, the cases there's CMT520, and then same on noise levels. It's a little bit on the high side. But there you go.
So-
And that is a Sebastian photo, not a
Looks
stock
pretty sharp.
photo. Not a stock photo.
Nice looking case.
Yeah.
That's with the sides on, I think, because it's the tempered glass.
I
Right?
see red.
You do.
Well, yeah.
I
Yes.
can't tell if he's got a side on. He's got the screws on, but that damn clear
It
glass.
could be tricking us.
All right, but
You
so
never
like,
know.
if that's what it looks like with the case, closed, then that's pretty cool.
So they got a silver award from us, a pretty good kind of starting launching point for them, at least for us in case reviews. So check that out.
So it has
$105.
on the fans on this, the stock fans that came with it. It has a very high blade count on those fans, and it didn't decrease the noise. I think it was on the first
Well,
page.
I
You
mean,
can see them.
Decrease the noise relative to what? The problem is we don't know what I don't know exactly what they were spinning at, and I don't know. Like the noise is also contributed by how fast they had to spin in order to get the airflow that they were supposed to get through those sides. Like
Yeah, I
through
mean,
the.
how many blades are on that?
Yeah, that's
thing?
a lot of. That's actually.
Where are they at?
Yeah, there's one on the back there.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably like 1,000. If I were
all the
guessing, let me
blades.
find a better picture here. I'm not going to count them, but you can at least see. There you go.
Yeah, I mean that's
That's a lot of
a
blades.
decent number.
That's a wall o' blades.
That's a lot of blades. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's the CMT520 RGB tempered glass case from FSP. Check out that review. It's on the website right now. Let's talk next about something on the completely other end of the spectrum. This is a review Ken published just yesterday of the Falcon Northwest Tiki. This is Falcon Northwest is a system builder. So while that other case was big and can hold a lot of different components, this case is small and is very, very custom built. There's a couple of things worth saying right away. We've actually, I was surprised, and Ken noted this in the review, we had never actually reviewed a Falcon Northwest PC on the website before. They've been around forever. They've been one of kind of the premier upper tier system builders for a while. The Tiki came out in what year, Ken? Was it 2012?
2012, I think.
Yeah, so it was kind of, it wasn't maybe, I don't think it was first, but it was one of the first small form factor SI built machines that kind of combined looks, aesthetics with high performance. This particular model we're looking at, as I show you this table of specs, is quite expensive.
Yeah, they pretty much fully loaded.
$6,200 is this. This is an interesting part or interesting collection of parts because it's got the 8086 in it, the 5 gigahertz limited edition part, Z370 mini ITX motherboard, an Asetek 120 millimeter water cooler for the CPU, 16 gigs of RAM. But then you get into some other more expensive componentry, like the Titan XP, 12 gigabyte, memory Titan XP. This is what, a $1,500 GPU, Ken? Is
Still
that
not the most expensive part.
$1,200 GPU. That's right. Yeah. It has an Intel Optane drive, a U.2 drive, a 1.5 terabyte Optane drive, which is actually not released yet.
Yeah.
That's
Well, there's half your cost right there.
No,
It's pretty close.
that's a third of the cost, $2,200.
It's like a $2,200 part, right?
Yeah.
And you take out if you say you take out the Optane
Put a reasonably priced
and the
SSD
Titan
in there.
XP, you're looking at $3,400 of your total cost.
Yeah.
And they put these in here to show that they could put the best, highest performing components into a system like this. And that's really impressive. Although I would imagine for the vast majority of people that would even consider buying an expensive pre-built system like this, a 1080 Ti instead of a Titan XP is going to save you some money.
Yeah.
A 2 terabyte 760p is going to save you like $1,500 or something, whatever that's going to be, right? You can save a lot of money by going
$2,000, I think.
Yeah, and you actually priced it out with like a 1080 and a
8700K or a 2700X and a 1080, 16 gigs of RAM and like a 512 gig 760p, maybe a 1 terabyte, and it was like $3,100.
Yeah.
Still a pricey PC. You're paying a premium here,
but it's half of. It's half of
The configuration they sent was the show-off configuration. Right. It's also worth noting. So it's this blue color. Which is hard to really show in photos. It
looks really good.
It was custom
Why
made.
is it HDR?
Yeah.
That way you can't see it?
All of our pictures in HDR, you just don't have the monitor to see them. This is like, it's not just painted, it's car painted. It's essentially an automotive painting process.
Yeah.
And they do customization on all this, right, Ken? They can do special designs and...
Yeah, pretty much you select the option to do either like a solid color or texture or multicolored thing, and then you kind of work with them to figure out exactly what you want, like exactly what color you want. They have a gallery on their website of different designs.
There's some really cool ones.
Yeah, they've done some really cool custom stuff. You pay for it.
Is that just, what do you, if you just want a color, is that part of the price, or are you paying for that?
This one, I think,
chassis
was like
and the base are separate, and I think to get both painted in a solid color is like $425 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's another pricey thing.
There's a lifetime warranty on the paint, which is nice to have at least.
Josh is excited because there's a slot load optical drive on the top of it.
Look at the size of that optical drive. Oh, now it's worth it.
Yeah. The window here is optional as well. Like they sell some that just have a grate here for air intake. So obviously you have to use blower blower style GPU coolers on these types of systems.
Right.
It's a little bit harder to tell. You can see there's like an NVIDIA cutout in the acrylic.
That's pretty cool.
There, yeah. And then the RGB strip can be color controlled by the ASUS AORUS software, I believe. Ken, you and Allyn took it apart a little bit. Anything to say about kind of how it's constructed internally?
I think it's pretty well thought out. Obviously, since this is a custom chassis, they had the ability to design, like, you can see where the SSD is mounted there. It's also like the optical drive is mounted there. And if you had a hard drive mounted there, it's all kind of on this removable plate that you can pop out that also has your sort of name badge and serial number on there, which is kind of cool. All the cables are routed really well. Like, stuff is at the appropriate lengths because they're doing all this stuff custom. It's not like they jam the side panel on like would be if we were building a small form factor build. It's actually well thought out, which is nice for a premium product.
Stuff fits properly.
Yeah. Like if you look
Where's
at
the power supply,
it's kind of in the bottom, more on the other side, and then you have that extension cable.
Plug-in.
Yeah, this cable right here.
It's behind the drives, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, like, if you look at the AIO tubing, look how it's kind of like wrapped around the pump, like it's kind of form fitted because that radiator is mounted to the side panel, so you have to unscrew the radiator to get this out the side panel off. So they don't have a lot of play to work with there.
Right. It's a pretty small chassis. You can see the U.2 mounted drive over here. There's room for a 3.5-inch hard drive as well.
I think you can put 2 in one of these chassis, 2
really?
3.5-inch drives as a configuration.
Oh yeah, maybe this bottom part here. You could also mount another one too. This is an interesting picture. This shows kind of like a checklist of things that it's
the QA process. It's the quality assurance process. So you can actually, like, if you go through and read, you can see all the steps they go through for like making sure stuff is plugged in the right locations, and like the power button works, and like all of this different stuff.
And they're doing benchmarks. It looks like they're doing a second checker.
Yeah, they verify the EFI options, like that AHEI is set, or RAID mode if you have like a RAID configuration.
Yeah,
which you can. I'm not sure you can do, but they'll probably do it if you ask.
Yeah,
sort of thing. It's
say
nice to see the evidence of this.
The binder that it comes with has a lot of that kind of documentation in it, a lot of all of your invoicing and kind of information source full of it. And
it's better than a sticker that says "Pass QA Inspector 13." That's
very true. Yeah, you can hunt this guy down if you want to. In terms of performance, we didn't do a normal round of benchmarking on it because we've seen these components. We know what these components do, but overclocking on these systems is an option. And I think you said it was like free.
It seemed to be free when I was configuring it. Yeah, the other day on the Intel system.
So this one came set at what, 5.3?
Yeah, 5.3 single core.
So these are percent gains over stock, and they do cool things like they're smart. They're like enthusiasts. They set it in as a profile in the BIOS so that you can revert back to stock if you want to, and revert back to overclock if you want to.
The numbers are even written on that build sheet.
Are they?
Yeah.
They give you all of the information you could want about the real trust of the machine. It's not like a black box sort of situation. They're very open and transparent about what they're doing. And
so these are percent gains in the CPU performance. A little preview of the storage stuff, though we won't spend any time on that. I know Alan's working on. He ripped it out of that case and had to test it on his own.
Hey, it's fast.
Yeah, go figure.
It's fast, yeah.
Gaming wise, the Titan XP is a very, very fast graphics card. Second only, not probably, to the Titan V. Which is more than twice its cost. A little bit of idea. You're going to be able to play at 4K gaming on this if you choose to. 3440 by 1440, not a problem. The conclusion of this is really centered around the pricing and that discussion. If you look through comments, anytime you go to a website like ours that reviews a lot of components, you're going to get a lot of comments about, oh my God, I priced out these components and you're spending X number dollars more than you need to, and how could you give an award to a machine that's so overpriced or whatever?
Because we're basing it on like the build of the machine. Like if you bought this with different stuff in it, you're still getting the paint job, you're still getting whatever. If you potentially I mean,
look.
Well, if you parted out a Ferrari over the internet, I'm sure you'd save a couple of bucks versus buying one brand new.
Yeah, that's
okay.
So now I understand what you're saying. The DIY community is a very different place. right? Because you wouldn't go to Ford and say, I added up the price of all the components in here, and you're upcharging me by 30% or whatever.
No
Nobody
shit, that's how
really
business
does that.
works.
Yeah. So, but I understand that these types of PCs are not for the vast majority of people. Not that they're not for all people, but they're not for the most of the people that are listening and watching to these shows. This is for somebody that no longer wants the time or the frustration of building their own system. They want somebody they can call, but they also want it to be high quality, high end,
customizable.
Yeah, like you can work with them on it. If you want that custom paint job or you don't, you can do that type of stuff.
There's definitely something to be said about insert coin, get kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think it's a fair argument to have, but there are a lot of system integrators that could build you the same level of performance, right?
Absolutely.
But would they do it in the same type of chassis? Would they do it with the same level of support, with the same, kind of care and quality? It's like asking people why they drive Mercedes instead of Hondas. Both of those things are going to get you from point A to point B, and it's just about the fit and finishes around the edges. Look, it's hard for me to sit here and tell you a definitive answer of like, why is this worth? Take away the super expensive components. Why is this machine worth $3,000? Which
is still kind of pricey.
It is.
Yeah.
It's just a different a gauge of worth, right? If you're looking at performance per dollar, and that's your metric you care about, which I know a ton of our readers and listeners are,
for good reason.
For good reason, right? Yeah. Even if that's your focus, and you're like, but I don't want to build it myself. You're not going to Falcon Northwest. You're probably going to CyberPower or something, right?
Right.
Who they're cutting costs on other areas. The support maybe is not the same.
They're using off-the-shelf chassis, which is fine.
Yeah,
like that's perfectly valid.
But that's
thing to do.
you're closer to getting performance per dollar out of that type of stuff. This is, just a different class of things. So yes, it did get an award, not for the $6,200 configuration of it, which we would recommend to literally 0 people probably.
I'm just
even if you have the
disappointed
money
you didn't
to
get
burn,
the
I'm not sure.
K2SO one.
Didn't get the what?
The K2SO one.
Yeah, that was custom made for Allyn.
Come again?
Tudyk, the guy who played
K2SO.
And that was actually a custom paint job for him. And apparently the story was he had to get explicit permission from Disney to have Falcon Northwest be able to paint that character on it.
Because it's a choice on their website now in the gallery.
It's a gallery, but I don't think you can select it.
Oh, that kind of gallery.
I think it's giving you ideas of what they can do. They have, artists that can do basically anything if you send it to them. But that can range from anywhere from a few $100s to a couple of $1,000, depending on how much time that person has.
I want
to
a Josh Tech one.
Actually, a Josh Walrus panel would be.
I mean, that's the big part of what this whole thing is that you want some very potentially radical customization done in really high quality.
Yeah.
To a PC. Right, not necessarily the parts inside. The parts inside are going to be like, you pick these things off the list, sure. Right, you're not getting any higher grade SSDs or GPUs from them than what you could buy. Right, it's going to be the thing that as it comes. Right, that's what's in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's the paint job on that case is it's clearly an automotive grade paint job done properly.
Just how much do you value that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Do they have options for clear coat?
I would imagine.
I mean, it is clear coated.
I think that is clear coated, like the one that we have here.
It's a joke. It's when you go into an auto dealership, they try to sell you extra on the clear coat.
Yeah.
It's a really nice case. It's a really nice system.
It's just built well.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Plus, you can put a Titan XP in it. Right? And you can put an overclocked 8086K. They don't do any crazy, they don't have any X299 configurations.
They do.
They do?
Yeah.
You can get...
If you want to pay, you can get X299 in it.
Okay.
You can get a Ryzen in it. You can get a...
Yeah, I know they added a Ryzen 2000 series configuration for it too. Well, check out that review on the site if you want, and if you think that's something you might be interested in. Again, I think the color looks way better than we can show in these photos. Like when you took it out of the box, it was kind of like a wow.
We needed a Sebastian here.
It reminds me a little bit of kind of how this is showing up on that TV, but not really how it's showing back to me here.
The blue really pops in person.
Color's really hard, as it
has a depth to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's neat. It's neat. All right, before we get into our news stories, we do have an advertiser for you this week. That's right. This episode of PC Perspective is brought to you once again by our good friends at CASPER. CASPER is a sleep brand continuing to revolutionize its line of products to create an exceptionally comfortable sleep experience one night at a time. CASPER's mattresses are designed by humans for humans. The original CASPER mattress combines multiple supportive memory foams for quality sleep service with just the right sink and just the right bounce. Its breathable design helps you sleep cool and regulate your body temperature throughout the night. They are not just a mattress company. CASPER also offers a wide array of products to ensure an overall better sleep experience. I believe like pillows and whatnot, which I'm totally down with. CASPER's mattresses are all made in the USA. Buying online is easy. You can just order online. It's delivered to your door in like a compact box that I recommend have a second person help you take upstairs. I was not smart, and I rolled it up the stairs essentially. You know, like you push it up to the step.
End over end or something?
End over end. You know, it goes up 2 steps at a time. You feel strong and muscly at that point.
I see.
Free shipping and free returns into the U.S. and Canada for a risk-free 100-day trial. You can considering we spend 1/3 of our lives on a mattress, it's important you truly sleep on a mattress before committing. That's why CASPER gives you those 100 nights to try it out. You can get $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/PCPer and using the promo code PCPer at checkout. I have one of these. We have one of these in our guest room as well. Nothing but positive things from my wife and I or the guests that have slept on these mattresses. I cannot encourage it enough. And again, you get a 100-day free trial. If you are in need of a new mattress or you just hate the way you sleep, it's worth checking out. Terms and conditions do apply. That's $50 towards select mattresses by visiting casper.com/PCPer and using promo code PCPer at checkout. Thank you very much to CASPER for their support of this wonderful podcast about technology that we do.
Do they offer a Scotch guard for a little extra?
No, it'd be a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
A good upsell, if you will.
It is, yeah.
Let's see. The first news story, I don't actually have a thing to point to, and now that's a bad deal because I don't have the specs in front of me. There was a leak from Dell, apparently, on a Dell
Chile, I think.
Chile website about an upcoming XPS 13 2-in-1 that's using AmberLake CPUs. This was on Tom's Hardware. It basically confirms. So AmberLake is the Y series refresh that's coming. What's the U series?
Whiskey Lake.
Whiskey Lake, the best one. No, I don't want your damn notifications.
How about that autoplaying video? You want that?
Oh man, I can't wait till Future and Percho and everything. It's gonna be great. The full list of processors that they had on here, they had 7th gen parts listed, but then more importantly, I guess, are these new 8th gen Core i5 8200Y and Core i7 8500Y. So they've changed the branding, and Ken and I both agree for the better. The 7Y57, 7Y75, 7Y54.
Not only did they put the letter in the middle, which they never do for anything else, they they always pick similar numbers, like 3 7s and a 5.
Yeah.
75, 57.
Yeah.
Like it's what the heck? Yeah.
It was like purposely confusing.
Yeah, this makes a lot more sense. 8500Y, 8200Y, you give it an idea of classification and then the power from that suffix letter. What's interesting here to me, now keeping in mind that these are peak turbo scores, we don't know how often they're going to hit them, right? That's a question mark. But if you look at the highest end 7th gen, you're looking at a peak of 3.6. That goes up to 4.2 on the 8th gen. So even though I don't expect any significant architectural changes here, there is a potential to have a 600 megahertz frequency jump going from the 7th gen to the 8th gen of these Y series parts. Remembering that the Y series parts are the like 4.5 to 7 watt parts.
And the XPS 13 2-in-1 in particular, the first gen, the only gen, did a really good job at like thermal management and like being pretty aggressive on keeping that as high as it could for as long as it could.
Oh, it did. Okay. Yeah. But it still felt a little slow.
Yeah.
Right? Because of that Y series part. No, there's no guarantee that even though these are for higher clock speeds, that a lot of that will go away. But it's an interesting move. It's also interesting in that The Y series parts are where the competition from Qualcomm is targeted at.
Yeah.
Where AMD really still has no alternatives as well. So we'll see what that is. But that's kind of, oh, hey guys, hot deals. Under $500. Oh, Jiminy Christmas. So yeah, we don't know if those are true. Assuming they're true, could be some interesting clock speed bumps coming to those low power parts.
Power supply?
I don't know what that video is.
You know,
they
you
embed
care
a
about
video
PC
of a power supply
supplies.
in every. Look, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Let's move on. Jeremy, the PC industry is dead.
That's what they keep telling us.
Long live the PC industry.
Thank God.
These cows say differently.
Well, mind you, I mean, for the first time since 2012, they're actually right.
No. Are you doing dishes? Is somebody doing dishes?
Not me.
No, I have very loud children.
Are they doing dishes?
No.
No, they're
They're
eating.
children.
They're eating?
Yeah, they're children. Yeah, they're like only like 16, 20 feet away, and then he's banging his pots and pans because
You know, you do.
he likes his pots and pans.
That's how he does the
That's fine.
dishes.
That's fine.
Who doesn't?
Back to Gateway.
It's about 2012,
anything,
right?
Anything but Gateway.
So yeah, for this quarter compared to, or second quarter 2018, compared to this quarter last year, we actually saw a 1.4% increase. It doesn't
Long live the PC.
add up to a huge thing, but this year we've seen 2.7, so it's actually looking a bit better. It's not huge, but once again, obviously, the cries that the PC market is dead are wrong, and Falcon Northwest is still making computers.
Yeah. They are. They are.
You know, it was the worst thing. Gateway moved from South Dakota, where they made their name and brand, and they moved to San Diego.
Mhm.
That was it. They should have kept the South Dakota thing, but no, they
Is
didn't.
that really
Might
where
be
they were
best
started
for
in
everyone
South
they
Dakota?
died.
Yeah, just like Sioux Falls,
I didn't know
South
that.
Dakota.
Where you can attract all the best technical talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, man, when you got boxes that are painted like cows,
True.
everybody wants to work for you. I remember the Gateway store on Mall Road. I remember going in there and being impressed at the time. It's where Plato's Closet is now.
No.
To say,
That was a mattress factory or something now, wasn't it?
no,
Is it
it's to the
Plato's
right of
Closet?
that. It's the mattress factory's on the left where the Pizza Hut is. This is, I think it's a Plato's Closet. I don't know, but it was,
There's been like 7 stores in there since then.
yes, there has. Gateway killed my local economy, I guess. That's what I'm going to say.
Never open a retail store.
Yeah, it's true. We've already talked about the Toshiba RC100, I think, right? We posted a review of this?
Yep.
We did a
yep.
while back.
The price, it was kind of pricey for, given that it's only a buy two.
But it's tiny.
It's tiny.
Its shtick is it's tiny.
If you need a tiny SSD, you know, this is.
That's what came into my my new Dell at work.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well,
Really?
Oh, really?
everybody's
Are you
really
fucking
surprised.
with me, Josh?
No, I mean it's
It actually said
really in there.
RC100. It wasn't like a OEM label kind of thing.
Well, it's an OEM label version, but it's the same drive.
Same thing. All right, cool.
Yep.
Huh.
So,
I had to
and I
stick
did
it
look,
on
and I
the
couldn't
back
find a
of
full
another
review.
thing too. Never mind. To make
No, it
it
was-
bigger, to fit in the slot. You know what I'm saying?
What is with these two?
Yeah, no, I get it. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Did we not publish the review yet?
No, because I looked for
crap.
it because I had a question to
No, they
ask you.
did. It's posted.
I did.
thought
Where?
we did.
Listen,
It's
I
like
was
4
in
weeks
Europe.
ago, dude.
I was in Europe,
Europe.
and somehow
Yeah.
I got a review
Yeah.
done while I was gone.
It's
It was from
amazing.
a hotel room
It's a
in
GD
Germany with the
miracle.
crappiest internet on the planet.
I thought you finished this
And,
before you left.
No,
No,
didn't come in before he
it came in after I left. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Ellen doesn't use
June
tags
12th.
properly.
What?
No, that sounds right.
It's true.
Oh, did I
we
not
didn't put
tag it?
RC100 in
There
the
is
tags
no-
of the
yeah.
article.
Oh, crap.
Strangely, that's what I was looking for.
I should probably
Alan,
have...
the guy who complains the most about the features of the website, doesn't use the features.
Hey,
we
I
do
did
have.
do tags. I just incorrectly
Yeah, like
tagged.
Toshiba and SSD.
I said Toshiba, and SSD was
That's
in there.
enough.
NVMe was in there. PCIe was in there.
NVMe was in there.
Yeah.
Did you put PCB in there?
No.
How about
M.2.
How about
M.2 was in there,
Sticker.
I'm sure.
There's a sticker on
No,
it.
Sticker?
M.2 was not. on.
Anyway,
We'll have to
I'm
add a
sorry.
sticker.
Jeremy, please go ahead.
My question was, is there a way to program how much of your system RAM it will grab?
The
Or
max
does it just do what it does?
The max that the spec allows is actually a very small number. It's like something like 50 megabytes or something. It's not a lot. And it's just using like that is just extra space used by the driver, just the NVMe driver, just allocates some of that memory on the host side in system RAM.
Yeah, there'd be a buffer.
Yeah, just to be a buffer, but it's not a large buffer, so it's not to the point where like you would be worried about configuring it, and it's also not meant to be used as a cache or anything like that. It's really meant to be used as for flash translation layer caching.
It's the only one the drive's got, though.
Yeah. But like, I mean, so on the flip side to this, you have SSDs that are what's called DRAM-less, which just have like even less of a buffer just built inside the controller and just no discrete DRAM chip on the SSD. So this is sort of a middle ground, right? It's like, okay, there's no buffer on the drive. We're going to borrow a tiny bit of RAM from the host. So if it needs to do, if you would have typically wanted to look up something that was just frequently accessed in the flash, potentially that location would be, that pointer to the correct place in the flash to find it would be buffered on the host side in the driver.
So how is this better than the OS's native block level cache layer?
It's not. It's for when you're accessing something on the drive that was not, was a cache miss on the host. Right? So yeah, you still have your host side cache of whatever it was going to cache before, which applies to any storage that would be plugged into the host, right?
Right.
That's your kernel OS level kind of stuff. But for when you're talking to the SSD, if you can cache some of that flash translation layer, you don't have to worry about like hitting the flash first to access a table to look up where you actually want to look in the flash to find the thing that you're looking for. If you can get rid of that double hop and have some of that table stored in RAM, then that's a huge help because you're not doing two reads from flash. You're just doing the one that you wanted, right? Yeah, and it doesn't take a lot of that buffer. You don't need a lot of space to pull
And
that
not only
off.
that, but you don't have to spend a lot on capacitors on that. So when the power goes down, there's like no cache to write to the,
Yeah, and you're not caching like the host memory buffer thing is not meant to cache.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, it's not meant to cache the stuff that is writing to the SSD. No, I know you were being sarcastic, but that's the reason they don't put data in that cache.
Well, it seemed pretty
on the
inefficient to
host.
cache the stuff you want to write to the SSD in RAM
Yeah,
because then it would
Yeah,
just
power goes out. And
you
a
move it
large
from RAM
portion
to
of
RAM, and
exactly. Yes,
But it's in a different spot in RAM.
it's a different spot. Yeah,
Now it's in two places.
Well, we joke about this, but this is an issue with SSDs. There is a write hole.
power loss. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a power loss write hole on.
That's why you got
hard-
super caps.
yeah.
and the modern generation do large things to mitigate that.
Yeah. But for
Let it all burn.
for client PCs, like the write hole stuff is not as significant because for enterprise, you'll have a certain process running and it's very time critical and it's like atomic style writing where you know that, yes, this actually made it to the disk.
Yep.
And that was done before. And I needed to finish that write and it needed to be guaranteed to be on the media before I moved on to the next step of whatever. That's like your enterprise-y style workloads where you're that worried about it. For client, if you go to save a file and your power goes out right then, right?
you have the world's worst luck.
First, you have the world's worst luck. Second, like
Look,
it could
that
have
bucket list in my Word doc is really important.
So the thing is that it could have been lost even before it made it to the disk on client, right? Like there wasn't some process where you were going to save this and then do this other thing.
Yeah.
And if those things didn't happen in the exact correct sequence and guaranteed to be sure the data was in the right place at the right time, that's just not a thing that happens on client,
Yeah.
right? Either the file didn't save properly, okay, go to my backup, go to my previous version, whatever. That sort of stuff would happen on client, right? That's why you don't see banks of super caps on client
That's the
SSDs
first
anymore.
Gen SandForce drives.
Yeah. Yeah, the first gen SandForce drives where they had the super cap on the drive because it was literally like OCZ not changing the design from the enterprise part, and they're just like, we'll just sell this to client.
Worked pretty damn well for them, as it turns out.
It was, yeah, if you could do it cheaply enough, it worked well for them. The SandForce little firmware hiccups aside that may or may not brick the drive if you looked at it wrong, but that was years ago. And now OCZ is Toshiba. Now they're making this.
Jeremy, what is the story here about the new Nokia 6.1?
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be very suspicious that a company called HDM Global that's based in Finland sort of accidentally bought Nokia back from Microsoft and set up shop just a couple of blocks down from where Nokia used to be. So they're totally not the same company at all.
Nope, of course not.
Not at all. But regardless, they're putting out the new 6.1, which is already out. And for people that are just looking for a nice phone that works, it's pretty decent.
It's a pretty much stock
$270. And it's Android 8, no skin, no screwing around, just flat out vanilla Android 8.1.
Huh.
The world needs more vanilla Android phones out there.
Not according to the EU.
Not according to the EU. Yeah. It's the Snapdragon 630. So, I mean, not the absolute best, but at $270, no contract, it's kind of hard to argue that it's not a good deal.
I'm sorry, did I miss what the processor was in this?
Snapdragon 630.
630. Okay.
Yeah.
32 gigs of local storage, 3 gigs of RAM. It's not too long ago. Those were like flagship level, almost flagship level specifications.
This is a fairly big deal because this is one of the few devices that's made it to North America. These have been mostly targeting emerging markets, China, India sort of thing. But
who'd have thought?
Trying to make them over.
And they kept a bunch of things. Like you got a micro SD slot still. It's got a Type-C USB port, which is technically USB. It's not full speed USB-C, but it's still there. Yeah. And a headphone jack, so you can actually use the bloody USB port while you've got headphones on.
Who would want to do that?
It's a nice callback.
Nobody would do such a thing.
Well, apparently these guys will.
Very cool. Who posted the review up that we were looking at? Ars Technica?
Yeah, it was ours. And they go into this sort of interesting background of how HMD is totally not Nokia.
Great. Fantastic. The next news story is actually pretty interesting. Ken, you posted this one up. A new consortium is it just called VirtualLink Consortium?
Yeah, they're not very creative with anything in this whole marketing.
Has created a new connection standard to connect headsets, head-mounted displays to PCs. And this one is probably actually going to be a real thing because NVIDIA, AMD, Oculus, Valve, and Microsoft are the members of it. So pretty much anybody that is worth a shit in PC VR, anybody that matters.
It's all the players.
Yeah, it's anybody that matters. I mean, look, you've got Razer, who's kind of done their own.
Anyone that matters.
But like I said, all the ones that matter are in here. And it's using the Type-C connector, but it's an alternate to Type-C. And the idea is that basically you can replace all of this junk. This is an HTC Vive configuration.
Breakout
with
box
one
thing.
cable.
The link box.
Yeah, that comes with one cable. And on that cable, you'll have your DisplayPort video signal. You'll have USB 3.1 data transmission. And you have 27 watts of power all over one Type-C cable.
And it looks like Bender's mouth.
Yeah, it kind of, actually kind of does. Kind of does.
And theoretically, if they built this in into the GPU itself, you would just have USB Type-C, just Type-C port on the back of the GPU.
Yeah.
Just plug your VR headset straight into the
That
GPU.
seems pretty inevitable, especially since there was
a rumor about a month ago
about a special
how
VR
are they gonna handle
connector.
the power?
Go ahead.
Let's add another 27 watts to this board.
So we were discussing that before, right? So hold on, finish your thought, Ken. I don't know if you.
No, that's fine.
Okay. There were rumors that NVIDIA was going to have a quote unquote VR port on their graphics cards. People are like, what the hell does that even mean, right? Now I think we have a pretty good idea of what the hell that means. The power question is interesting, Josh. So 27 watts on something like a 1080 Ti. 27 watts is not a huge problem. If
it's an eighth of the power of the board.
Yeah, but a 1080 Ti is already only using a 8-pin and a 6-pin. So if you made it two 8-pins, there you go, problem solved.
Yeah.
Right. Like they're not hitting the TDP limit anymore.
But can the
AMD
price of
has.
PCB? It's so expensive.
Oh.
But so here's the thing. It's possible that the power would be able to come off the 12-volt rail and very easily go out, right? It's not going to have to go through a lot of the power delivery systems that would go to the GPU into the memory, right? I don't know this. I'm just kind of guessing. Nobody's told me anything about this crap. That's an interesting question to have, though. It's kind of like how does the power affect all of this, right? Especially if you start to look at more mainstream graphics cards, maybe ones that have a 6-pin only, right?
Or bus-powered ones.
Or bus-powered even, right? If you start talking about how low can we get VR performance to get, right? It's not inconceivable that you would have a 75-watt card that's bus-powered only, and now 27 watts is not something you just have. That's 33% of what you're looking at, if more, right? So it can become a problem there. So that is something to watch out for. The other thing is, I don't quite understand how the data transmission side of this would work, because if you have a VirtualLink port on your graphics card, now USB data traffic has to flow from your graphics card to the host system in some capacity, and I don't know if that means. I don't think they're going to change the GPU architecture. If you look at the VirtualLink Consortium kind of documentation that they have, they talk a little bit about
like you wouldn't want to have
VIA chips and some BizLink chips that are kind of converting USB back and forth. That basically, could you create a virtual USB port in software like the NVIDIA driver would, and it would be able to route that traffic to that virtualized USB port?
The concern is that if you want to have multiple different devices connected to a single PCI Express port, usually you would either have a PLX chip of some sort
on the card,
right?
Which then you're limited to buy 8 PCIe for the GPU and then buy 8 for USB 3.1,
which is like really, it's just silly, right? And not only that, but you're just trying to tap this one small thing off of the bus versus this other much larger thing, and to have to pass it through. I mean, that's chip's going to probably add like $5 to the cost of the even to make the card, and then there's all the complexity of like now you have to pass everything through another chip, right? So it just seems way overkill for trying to accomplish that. But yeah, like you were saying, probably the better bet would be somehow have the USB thing, on the GPU end, like as a data path that can come off of the GPU itself, and then just pass the data through the driver, and then the driver could just mount some sort of a virtualized USB device.
I worry that like that creates a couple of pain points, like will it add latency to the USB sensor data, and also like
potentially it could lower it.
Then the host controller, like NVIDIA that has no experience building USB paths and stuff. Like,
my point is that it wouldn't have to go through the host and then through the driver to get to the GPU to tell the GPU that your head-mounted display just moved so much, right?
It's not really telling the GPU anything. It's telling the game engine. It's telling the SDK, whatever Valve, Steam VR, whatever. So
whatever's doing
those fundamental systems aren't changing. It's not like the USB processing is going to be happening on the GPU. That still has to happen CPU side.
Yeah.
So
Ranger has a great idea. Just make it a pass through like the Voodoo 2s.
Where you have like a dongle coming out.
Yeah, you just loop it back to the host.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I thought about that. And I guess you could still do that.
You could use internal USB headers to do it.
You could do that, but it needs to be USB 3.
Yeah.
Because this has both USB 3 and 2.
A lot of boards still only have one USB 3 header.
It's also interesting, like existing Type-C cables won't work with this. They talk about in the consortium paperwork documentation that at the head unit at the HMD, it's going to be hardwired into it, so you can't take that cable out,
or a custom plug,
or it has to have its own custom
something.
Plug, which to me defeats purpose.
Because you don't want somebody trying to use a regular Type-C cable for this
because they changed some of the pins.
Yeah.
In order to enable both high bandwidth. High bit rate 3 and USB 3.1 and 2. In order to have all those over one Type-C, they had to modify some of the pinouts.
So it only took us 1 year to make sure that USB-C is incompatible as the rest of USB.
Well, I mean,
yeah, kind of. In the same way that this laptop has Thunderbolt markings on the edge of it, if you get a laptop that has VirtualLink, it would have a VirtualLink logo, which is
so the thing is, like, you don't have to. The port itself can still be universally compatible. In other words, if you made a laptop, say moving way forward, where you had a laptop that was VR capable, and had one of these
VirtualLink.
and if you had VirtualLink capable USB Type-C port, that would still be a normal Type-C port if you plugged anything else into it.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. You just couldn't go the other way.
You just couldn't go the other way. Yeah.
It's backwards compatible, not forwards compatible. Yeah, so there's some questions there, but now it seems likely that this is something that's going to happen. It's great to see NVIDIA and AMD on the same board for something that's like, it's not an NVIDIA, a proprietary port on the GeForce cards, which is what everybody thought this was going to become when we first read that. So that's a positive. Do I think this fundamentally changes the VR landscape? No, but I do think anything that makes it easier for this next generation of headsets to be utilized and attempted and tried by people is a good sign. So
whatever they call it, I hope it doesn't have 38 characters in it to type out every time.
it's VirtualLink.
Okay, I can deal with that.
VirtualLink. There you go. Should be pretty straightforward. GIGABYTE is now in the power supply game. According to this, Jeremy,
AORUS, not just GIGABYTE. AORUS.
What's just AORUS?
AORUS, yeah.
Probably.
So they've come out with an 850 watt power supply, which, it reminds me of some of the EVGA ones, to be perfectly honest, the design that they chose. And it's got that 135 mil fan that we're kind of used to seeing. But overall, it's going to be something that Lee will probably like, in that it's a single 12-volt rail design, which is better overall, as we've seen in numerous testing. The caps inside, which is interesting because we were talking about this last week, are rated for 20 years at 25C. So obviously they're not going to sit at 25C the whole time, but 20 years is pretty crazy. These guys have a 10-year power warranty on them, but still. The other thing that they have is that the fan is a 2-ball bearing unit. So it's a more complex way of doing a ball bearing fan, but from the way that they're describing it, it's going to last a lot longer, operate a lot quieter, and it may well work out to be. I did a quick search not too long and couldn't figure out if someone else had tried this or not. But hopefully it does. Or hopefully it's something that is going to work for them. And other than that, as we've seen with most of the other power supplies, as long as you're sitting at 20% load or lower, the fan is usually going to idle out for you. Although there is software you can play with to try and get that up. So it's worth giving a shot. They didn't have any particular pricing listed at the time of posting. I would be shocked if you're more than $150. Otherwise, that sort of puts them beyond what the competition is doing. So hopefully Lee will get his hands on it at some point, and we can see just how well it works.
Do we think these guys are actually making this themselves, or are they just rebranding somebody?
No, they're using an ODM of some kind. I'm positive.
I would assume it's Seasonic.
I wouldn't assume that.
I wouldn't assume that either.
No?
In fact, I can tell you for sure that it's not. I just don't know if I can say who it is.
No.
So.
Because I don't think Seasonic is doing that anymore. Like
what? Oh, they still do plenty of power supplies for people.
Yeah,
but adding more of them,
like new clients.
That's like Seasonic's entire business.
It's
they don't sell a lot direct.
Business, if nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. EVGA. They're having their 19th anniversary. They're giving away $80,000 worth of stuff, and it looks like their visual style here is Far Cry
76 or whatever, or
Blood Dragon. Blood Dragon.
Oh. Blood Dragon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see. What do they got? They got a scavenger hunt you can do, a social media event, a gaming event, an NVIDIA Ansel event, a YouTube commercial event. Do they give any examples of what they're kind of giving away in any of this?
Well, they list a lot of their sponsors, and it's a huge bloody list of them. I mean, Intel and NVIDIA are the two tops, but everything from like Velocity Micro through Doghouse, Falcon Northwest.
There's a lot of flashing and bright colors on this website.
The Vive Pro. So, you'd assume that the Vive Pro is going to be giving away one specific thing.
Yeah, there's $10,000 of it right there.
Yeah, no crap, eh?
Read the comic. Tell me what I'm going to win. What am I gonna win?
You're not allowed to know.
Prize list: complete gaming system from Digital Storm, $3,800, $8,700K,
That's cheap for one of those.
$3,700, 500 gigabyte SSD,
Yeah.
1080 Ti, or an AVA Direct gaming system, or a Doghouse Systems gaming system. Ooh, a Falcon Northwest gaming system.
Yep.
CyberPower PC. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here, guys.
Yeah, I know. There's a
I would
huge
go
amount
look
of
at
stuff.
this.
Newegg AB systems.
Newegg abs, automatic braking systems,
I've always wanted abs that people could see.
exotic PC, Origin PC. There's a lot of stuff here. The grand prize bundle, 3 of them, $5,000 a piece. What is it? Tell me. Maybe it's just $5,000. That seems.
Oh, that'll be the $5,000 EVGA bucks.
Oh, you can just go spend whatever you want.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I see. There you go. 5K EVGA bucks.
It's changing colors. It's RGB.
Yeah,
bucks.
it's like a little much. They've got a great web design team, that's for sure, but woof.
That's kind of over the top.
All right.
I don't know. I think it's more, Outrun? I think it's Outrun.
I think it looks just like
Yeah, that
Blood
is like
Dragon.
Outrun.
Yeah.
EVGA.com/19. I love their URLs, if nothing else. EVGA.com/19. They better be saving some of this crap for the 20th. That seems like it should be important.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got up next? Let's see. Skype 8. I don't know why this is on here.
Why is this
I
even a
hate
thing?
it.
Why are you even talking
Wait,
about
I
it?
don't even know why we're talking about it.
It's
I'm
a
living
change.
through it.
Jeremy hates it.
It's a force
Well,
change.
that's fair enough. It's just I finally found my return video, and it is this big, and it cannot be made bigger or smaller.
You don't need to
I
see
just-
what
That really
we're doing.
sucks for you.
I just don't understand what they're doing.
They're ruining it.
Like, I mean,
so that you'll move to
trying to
Microsoft
make it a
Teams.
They're not
So-
ruining it. It was never good.
Well, okay. No, they found ways to make it worse.
that's my point.
That's fair.
Like, I've tried the new interface. It's almost immediately just worse. Like, it's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's
Right.
bad.
And comparing it to Skype for Business, it is actually less user-friendly, which is an impressive feat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not impressed.
Maybe
I'm
now they
just
can say
saying
Skype for Business is the superior solution now that we've nerfed the crap out of it.
I've said,
Except they're discontinuing Skype for Business within the next couple of months and
Oh.
replacing it with Teams.
Oh. Well, okay, there went that idea.
I still have
And if you
link-
want a nasty color scheme,
I still have link.com.
download a Teams beta.
I still have link.com emails come to me every once in a while for things. So once Skype dies, we're ending the podcast just so everybody's on the same
Yep.
page.
It's over in September.
Another power supply announcement came from NZXT, E-Series digital power supplies, fully modular.
That's not entirely white like I expected it to be.
Yeah,
That's
from
true.
NZXT. That's true. 80 plus gold power supplies. They support their CAM software, which is for system monitoring, power usage.
To the point where there's DSP in it, so you can actually monitor what various peripherals are pulling.
Hmm.
Right,
There's
so
a
what's
specific
pulling
text
off your
TI chip in
PCIe,
there.
what's pulling off your SATA.
Well, that sounds convenient.
It certainly does. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for hardcore overclockers, like, why am I just not getting the power I should be out of it? It's like, oh, look, it's not actually drawing that.
Yeah. That can be pretty useful.
For hardware reviewers.
Oh, come on. No one cares about them.
Up to 100, it's $150 for the 850 watt, down to $125 for the 500 watt.
Yeah.
So 500, 650, and 850. Not bad.
Usual 10-year warranty.
Yeah, they're 80 plus gold, so they're not like the super high end efficiency stuff, but I think that power monitoring stuff is actually really cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have one of those in shortly as well. What we need, guys, is more people making power supplies. But at least if they're doing something different, these guys are maybe doing something different. That could be really neat. Last, maybe least, I don't know. Unreal Engine 4.20, nice, released. That's their 21st release of the Unreal Engine 4 since it launched to the public back in March 2014. Scott posted this up here. I'm gonna
They
do
blazing it in that YouTube video.
this. Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is no blazing it in the video.
Seems like they could add some
not
smoke.
nice.
I know.
It's about a visual effects editor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
They talk about, let's see, what is Cascade? A default particle and effects editor. They also have Visual Studio 2017 support. Developer side stuff, it's also, they're pushing some of their development branches onto GitHub. If you're interested in that kind of deal as well. Unreal Engine 4, still free to download and use. Royalties do apply for work created with the engine based on a small percentage of revenue. So when you start
Why does
making
that person have a lemon strapped to their leg?
What
the hell
You'll
is
never
that?
know. You'll never know.
17 of Grandma's hacks.
14 minutes. I thought you did videos over 9 minutes, couldn't survive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case. Okay, that's it from that side of the page. Let's go into our picks of the week. Mine is an interest. Oop, wrong back. This one is, of course, I left it over there. Ken and I were this evening at what would you call that, Ken? A live reading sounds dumb.
I mean, that's what it was.
But it was a live reading, but it was like they did like a
tour.
It was a book tour for this. It's called The Adventure Zone. It is a graphic novel / comic book that is based on a podcast. So how did I describe it to you, Alan, before I left? I said, we're going to a book reading of a graphic novel of a podcast of people playing Dungeons and Dragons. So there's a lot of steps you have to get through to get it. If you ever listen to My Brother and Me, like it's a comedy podcast, it's really funny. The McElroy brothers do a lot of different shows now. Griffin, Justin, Travis. Their dad does this one with them. They play Dungeons and Dragons. It was a really funny podcast, and now they've made it a graphic novel. It's apparently only $12.83 on Amazon here, Ken. So
cheap.
There you go. There's a Kindle version, whatever. It's a #1 bestseller in fantasy graphic novels. So there is that. It's funny. If you decide you're looking for something new and interesting to listen to, have the comic to go along with it. Probably listen to the podcast before you do the comic. You get a little bit better of understanding of it. Obviously, a lot of the comedy is in the reading of it as well, or in the podcast form. So, I would check that out. Some I would say younger guys doing cool, neat stuff. They've created kind of like a podcast empire. They quit their jobs to do podcasting for a living. So there's that. Alan's very interested in what we're doing.
Yep.
Next up, Josh, or wait, who is it? No, it's Canadian. Must be Jeremy.
I mean, hell, it's a damn good deal, enough that I'm very close to impulse buying.
Ooh, interesting.
$400 for a 1900X. And I checked in America, and it's only $300.
You save 557 Canadian dollars on this?
Yeah.
Did it really launch at 950 Canadian dollars? Now it's $400.
Well, you're right. Oh, you check out what the 1950s at.
These old
I think that launched at about 14.
Yeah.
Wow.
Motherboard's
But the
still
same
pricey,
sale is
but
going
yeah.
on in the States, except it's $299. So again, significantly off what it was launched at.
It's almost like new Threadrippers might be coming.
You know, I'm getting kind of suspicious. That might be a thing.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it.
It's only going on for a day or two. I guess
really?
this is a Prime Day sale or something, but
Sure, whatever. There are more reasons to
whatever.
sell.
Just get one.
Like the after Black Friday sale.
Yeah. Yeah.
The after Cyber Monday sale.
It's exactly.
We didn't
Also
sell as
known
many
as
as we thought we would.
Hey,
so we'll
you ever
just
bought
carry
anything
this
from
on.
Amazon Today sale?
Yeah.
Josh.
Me.
Oh, Josh.
Did you miss me?
Oh,
Sorry.
Vocal
Was I
Tech
excited?
internet phone.
You're okay.
Josh.
Here, just finish it up. We can do it.
Okay. Wow. 269. Or is it 259? You
259.
can get an RX 580 and combine it with a cheap FreeSync. Why are you waiting? All those people who have waited for these cards to go down from $650 to $1,000.
There's one refurbished for $389.
Oh yeah, get the refurb. It's
What a good deal.
yeah, for $259. That's
Still above retail.
competitive.
What was retail? $249 on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's $229 on Amazon right now.
Oh, wow.
The same
so
video
that's-
card?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
AORUS 580 gigabyte gaming.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's a 4 gig
Wow.
card. Never mind.
It's a 4 gig card.
Okay.
Never mind. Ken lied.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lie.
Kid's a liar.
Ken's a liar who lies.
Okay.
Does it have a $20 rebate on Newegg?
Probably.
No. I don't know.
Let's see.
Josh can't tell because he can't load anything on the internet.
Ugh.
Nothing on the internet works.
Okay. Well, thank you, Josh.
Thank you, caller from Wyoming.
All right, Alan.
So I carried this thing around Europe for like 6 weeks.
A selfie
and,
stick.
No, not a selfie stick.
A man bag?
It's a.
A sausage?
So I wanted something a little bit better than a monopod
A
for a
pint of
camera.
American milk.
And Sony makes this thing called a multipod, which is like,
Lulu Dallas Multipod.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So it's like this, I don't know, it's sort of like a transformer thing. It's got a whole bunch of different like configurations you can do. There's the monopod
Looks like there's a
style.
monopod with
Feet.
an articulating
there's-
head and then like feet.
Yeah, but the articulating head can go only on the feet if you want,
Sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
right? And then also there is a rubber, like if you spread the feet out, the picture doesn't show it, but if you spread the feet out, there is a rubber center piece in the middle that unscrews that can go on the bottom of only the monopod. So if you want to use the monopod only without the other section with the feet, right?
Okay.
It depends on what you want to carry around, basically. But when all that stuff is broken down, with it separated as shown there, and you don't even really need the extra little carrying bags and pouches and whatever.
Man bag.
Like all those, the parts for it fit in my backpack that I carry around. Even like it's that short.
Sure. I mean, it looks fairly small there.
Yeah, it collapses way down. I think it's like 5 or 6 sections or something when it like telescopes out. But pretty cool, and it weighs 3 pounds. Like the total of it weighs 3 pounds, even though it's pretty beefy. Like the, you know,
It's like 10 pounds less than a human head.
well, yeah.
Also, it doesn't look like it would hold one.
But it did come in handy. It let me get some pretty cool pictures of stuff that where I, would not have been able to hold the camera still enough to do.
It's 135 terabytes of photos. From
Have you
this trip.
sorted all those yet?
No, I have not. I have not. Found some pretty cool
People
ones.
who have too much data have no data.
Yeah. I did find my cool shots and I took in Venice of lightning striking some of the buildings there.
He's got hidden nudes in there, but nobody wants to go through the other 50,000 photos to
Yeah.
try to find them.
I don't
Yeah.
want to find any of them.
Talk about a best case scenario for machine learning.
Yeah.
Going through Alan's
That's true.
photographs.
That's true.
I mean,
That'd be
yes,
good.
correct.
SSD on white background, SSD on white background, SSD on white background. GTI.
Good God, the man's gutting us and putting it on display.
I got this.
It's pretty much how it works. Take all these SSD on white backgrounds, put them in a PC perspective folder, and take all these random pictures of
Put it in trash.
buildings. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, and we have one last pick from our man in the back behind the
curtain.
stormtrooper. This is apparently the musical selection of choice for us going forward.
What?
Arnold Schwarzenegger's
It's a pretty good playlist right there.
It is a good playlist.
Oh, so it's just it's
total
a
body
playlist.
workout.
Got it.
Sylvia's mother.
But it's more than just music.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. It's music with Arnold over it.
I can't play the samples.
It'll probably fly, I guess.
Is he talking
he
during the
sing?
music? Is he like, go man, go?
We're going to curl the arms. Ready? Go. Up, down.
Go up.
Basket. Yes, you're doing it well.
You're doing it
Okay, I'll play it on the after show.
That's awesome.
I'll play it on the
Yes,
after show.
Johnny,
What's the
Johnny,
best,
you
what's
are
the best
doing
track?
well.
Journey or
Well, the journey's how I found it.
567 or 867-5309. That's got to be. A
So
good
what's
one.
funny is that this set list looks like a pretty good thing for like driving music, right? But
It's
could you-
Raining Men. Yeah. for
Well,
sure.
no, not that one. But could you imagine like playing this while you're on a road trip and all you're doing is listening to Arnold in the background and just like talking about your workout and how much you're sucking or
Wait, what's the
doing
name of the
well or
album?
whatever.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Body Workout.
So you're supposed to say Alexa in front of that.
Nope. All right, everybody, that's going to be it for the podcast this week. Thank you very much for joining us. PCPer.com/podcast. Go there, find all the back episodes, the RSS files, YouTube links, all the stories we talked about, the show notes, the pics, all that stuff can be found there. We will see you next week with another episode. Goodbye.